I was born in 1960. I was a kid of the space race. I was fascinated with rockets and jets, anything that had thrust to it. Anything seemed possible during the 1960s. All the engineers, men and women, coming together for a common goal to put a man on the moon. I mean, how nutty is that? Try to imagine all the engineering and technology and the force of humanity to come up with all of that engineering in such a short period of time. I think everybody watching was inspired to do anything, just to excel as human beings. And yes, I have caught myself on fire before. I wasn't really interested in being a pilot, but I loved airplanes, so I started skydiving. And I thought to myself, literally in free fall, I need a rocket or a jet to put on my chest. When I was 14, 15 years old, I'd read encyclopedias. And I remembered seeing a schematic of a German V1 buzz bomb engine. Went to my shop and kind of toiled around for a couple of months, trying to mostly by memory. I wouldn't take no for an answer. I wanted my engines to do something. And I finally came up with an engine that ran. It made about 50 pounds of thrust, and I went up and jumped out of an airplane 3 times with it, so, which was not a very smart thing to do. One day I had an old cruiser bike with flat tires, took my skydiving engine and put it on the side of it and jerry-rigged it up really bad. My buddy had a little camera, and he says, "We need to put that on YouTube." And I said, "The hell is YouTube?" And he said, "Oh, well, I'll set up an account for you." So we set up an account, and all of a sudden, I get 1 million views in one day. So that was my introduction to YouTube. The kart's a pulse jet powered go-kart. I start a spark, and then I blow air into the engine, and then I start up the fuel, which sprays from 3 fuel pumps, and then it gets up to the spark plug and it sets it off, and it literally goes off like a cannon. And then the exhaust gases come out the tailpipe at about twice the speed of sound. I made 20 mistakes for one thing that I got right, but that's all right. Your mistakes are your friend. The Russians had rocket engines in the 1960s that we're just catching up with now. They didn't have a budget to go by, and it didn't matter how many they made and blew up. Use your hands and figure it out and make things and break things. Pretty soon you'll have exactly what you're looking for. I always want to push it a little bit further. I want to get a little bit more power out of my engines. Fuck it. We'll see what happens, you know.